We should be live. Just give me a second. I want to see here, make sure I see the fit. Yeah, should be live right now. Welcome guys to another Operation 11 Charlie, another Monday, very special Monday here. Some special, amazing guests here. Let me see here, guys. I'm trying to make sure I see the chat. Thank you so much. I see a lot of people already there on the chat. Thank you so much. Thompson RC, Jeff, Skirkis, welcome. Jeffrey, welcome. Big Red Tony, Miss Anybody Thompson RC, thank you guys. Larry,
Larry.
Yeah, welcome guys. Story is in the house. Welcome in, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely, guys. Thank you for being here with us again. Another special Monday. Very special guest here. We want to welcome Jason from AsiaTees. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks for having me.
Your second time now. You're part of the family now, bro. So welcome back. Welcome back. Ricky's, welcome in, brother.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. Also, we have Shawn, fellow veteran, and welcome in, brother. Good to have you here again, man. Awesome, guys. So
Tony's in the chat. He just jumped in.
Tony's in the chat. Welcome, Tony. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. JNXRC, welcome. Good to see you guys. Oh my God, I thought look at me. I'm without shirt.
Where's your hat?
Over there showing some
hat. No. You see this? It's like I'm ghetto today, bro. It's all good. Bam, right there. So like, and nobody said nothing. Hey, how are you with you?
We were waiting to see how long you went.
Right. But guys, I just want to start here with the show with the guys. I'm not gonna be here present tonight. We're gonna deal with some stuff here, but I know the guys are gonna take good care of you guys, our special guests, all that, and everybody here in the chat. We got a lot of good stuff that's gonna happen. We got good info. People in the chat, feel free for the question, all that stuff. We'll get to them. But I want to start asking, like we always start. Jess, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was short.
Short? You went crawling? You did some RCing?
I did not. Well, I did maintenance on RC. I worked on several trucks this weekend, but I didn't get any drive time.
That's good. That's part of it, right?
You're right. I worked on my BRX actually yesterday.
Step one, she cut the seal.
I am not. I am to the shocks. I'm getting there.
I was
way to the shocks.
I made it to the shocks.
I was gonna say that. Step one, she just opened the box.
Past step one.
Okay.
It took a 3-hour phone call to get her to cut the tape for the first time.
Okay, that kind of did.
Good stuff, guys. Nathan, man, how was your weekend, brother?
awesome. Just normal family activities and changing diapers and running around. Typical way it goes. Not too many tiny truck activities this weekend. So
beautiful baby is already 3 months old, right? Wow, my goodness.
Yeah, it's flying.
Awesome. Jeremy, how was your weekend, bro?
I had a fantastic weekend.
That's awesome, man.
Completely unplugged from RC. Just spent the weekend all the way up until about 3 hours ago with the wife in Dover, Delaware, and Rehoboth Beach.
Awesome, man. That is good.
Yeah.
Go out, stay away from everything, decompress, and come back, right? Refresh. That's awesome.
Yes. Came back with a little scratch from the casino, so I got a RC money budget to play with.
Penny don't go far.
Right.
That's what Heidi thinks. It's a penny.
She's here on the chat, so don't say no.
Yeah, she's not.
No, she's not. You had to check.
Yeah, you double check. Rob, how was your weekend, brother?
It was good. doing some paint work from some bodies that I picked up over at Wet and Wild. I did some maintenance work, but most of the time I was drooling over social media of this new 109 that came out, and Jeremy's video, I kept watching it over and over again. I was even messaging him. I'm like, dude, I'm jealous. I'm butthurt. I want one. I can't wait to get one. I'm totally stoked.
You'll be getting one for sure
Yeah.
before everybody else.
Whoa!
Oh,
There you go.
there you go. I know it's a beauty, bro. I can't wait. We can't wait to talk about it. Just incredible. The Tank RC, welcome in, Tank. I see one of our brothers, Larry. He said he's fishing and watching the show, bro.
That's awesome.
He's fishing and he just sent me a pic here on my phone.
That's doing it right.
That's doing it right there, man. That's awesome, Larry. That's awesome, man. How was your weekend, man?
Good. Got some RC time in yesterday, working on the course. Got to go out and test some new stuff, and then with my mile challenge, I got behind because I was working on the course. So I went out before work today, and if you know what I do for a living, it was a long day. Running around in Big Brown, you don't need to hike before you go to work.
Right. That's a no-no right there. That's a no-no. Let me see here. Shawn, how was your weekend, brother?
Me, Shawn, or other Shawn?
You, Shawn.
Oh, me, Shawn. Good, man. Went and took the wife wanted to go see all the flowers in the desert are all popping up and all that. So we did a couple 100 miles in a real truck and looked at that, and I'm sure you saw it. Ninja a few 109 pictures in there with the flowers.
I saw that, bro.
Blend it right in.
Yeah, pretty uneventful weekend.
Right. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Dennis, Trey Crawlers RC, welcome in. I said Big Tony, welcome in, brother. Good to see you. That's awesome, brother. Awesome. Jason, how was your weekend, brother?
Oh, wow. Well, the weekend we released, the pre-order started during the weekend, and we just wanted to make sure the website is up. So all the IT guys were all standby. We're still working on finishing up the packaging and all that stuff. So we're working really hard to make sure it gets released on time. So my wife Beth, she's also helping us. She's part of the design team. So I'm working pretty closely with her. So we have a 1-year-old son, Tobias. So we're juggling time between taking care of him and making sure everything is being taken care of, the business. So it's been a busy weekend.
I bet you. So I would say when we ask Ricky, he's going to say the same thing, right, Ricky?
Yeah, working all the time, and obviously I've got a little one as well. Mine's like 11 months now.
Wow.
Changing a lot of diapers as well.
You need to schedule the next release when your kids get a little bit older.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So crazy.
They can give us some ideas as well.
So here real quick, guys, I'm gonna pass this to Matt. I just want to say, guys, thank you here for the people in the chat. Kurt, welcome in, brother. Good to see you here. Before we start with a special guest today, we have an event that we're gonna be next month in Texas. It's Crawl Fest, right? If I'm not mistaken. We're gonna be there, I think the weekend of the 20th. We're gonna be there in Texas, hanging out with some of our guys' friends there. Also right after that, my goodness, Beat the Creek.
How many days? Who's got it?
Oh my God, don't say it, bro. we still
Probably like 35.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's
It's
45
more than
last
30.
week.
Because it was 45 last week. So I mean,
It's only 7 days in the week.
yeah, I know.
That's why we don't do math in public.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Okay.
So we preparing for that, guys. Those two events and the whole. Yeah, we're busy all the way to November, at the end of the year. But we're looking forward to our first time being in Texas in an RC event. Looking forward to meet some of our veterans there with those guys, and then of course looking forward for Beat the Creek. So again, thank you guys. You guys take over. Thank you guys. I'll be here in and out.
Thanks, Javier.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so we'll kick it off. So Shawn, you were here last time. You want to give a little touch before we get into the main topics, like what you do with maybe the release or Jason, how you're associated with AsiaTees BoomRacing.
Oh,
Remember, we just got a short time period.
yeah. Several years ago, I met Jason and his dad walking through the desert lost. And then here we are years later. I do a lot of the testing. Mainly it's been like chassis and suspension testing. This is the first time I've ever done a prototype body, and it was a little bit of work, but it's a fun ride. Like you can't imagine like what it's like to just get to have an input into your hobby. You know, you're not just a consumer at that point. You're like, hey, this would be so much better if it was like this, and then bam, there's one that's like that. You know, and it's I'm really thankful for being able to be involved with all of this.
That's awesome. Ricky, you want to do the same? Give us a little background with you.
Well, I'm basically, I was a consumer and basically I met Jason in an RC drift track that he used to sponsor. And basically I just moved to Hong Kong then, not long. And he approached me saying that, like, do I need a job or anything? And yeah, I've just started out like from there, really. I just started working with Jason and been here for like, how many years has it been now? 7 years, 8 years?
4 years. I had no idea about your skill sets at the time. I just liked you as a person. And I knew I wanted to work with you.
Yeah, I mean, I came from an automotive body side. So I used to live in the UK and I obviously done a lot of body work on cars, real cars. Done that for about 9 years. But RC's always been a hobby of mine. So I just took some of the real car scenarios into RC as well. So just mixing and matching a little things. So that's how I basically fit into all this.
Ricky downplays himself. He's that mythical guy behind the scenes I've heard about for the last 7 years. It's like, let me talk to Ricky. Let me talk to Ricky. Like it's like he downplays the heck out of himself.
Yeah, maybe you should just directly talk to Ricky because all of your ideas, I just tell him and then he makes it happen.
Jason, don't
like
do that.
Sasquatch. Everybody's seen him, but nobody's actually hung out with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always in the background somewhere.
That's awesome.
It is.
So who's got one of these trucks handy? Jeremy, is that yours? And
Yep. We got one right here.
I do. I have two behind me.
He's got two.
I got one right there.
do you
Mine
other
in
guys
the
get
office
left out?
behind Jason.
Rob, like,
Oh, man.
I should have put one behind me in like the screen thing, so it looked like
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Let's say, Jason, if you want to go over what if I don't know how they wouldn't know, but what the release over the weekend was. The buildup was what back in September you started leaking stuff.
Oh yeah. So well, the whole background of it started a couple of years back when a bunch of us here in Hong Kong, we wanted to build the Camel Trophy trucks. And then we were building the Defenders. And then eventually we were building the Range Rover and the Discovery, but we never had a series body. And the Series 3 was in one of the early Camel Trophy expeditions. So we really wanted to build one, but we couldn't. And one of my friends, Victor, he decided to design one and he made it out of 3D printed material. And he showed it to me and it was beautiful. But the body just did not last very long. And also we didn't have a chassis that fit the body. So when the BRX-02 leaf spring chassis came out, a lot of people messaged me and said, hey, why don't you do a scale series 3 to fit the body, because you know the series truck had leaf spring on it. And so that's the time when we really decided, okay, should we do it? Should we approach Land Rover? How should we do this? And then through some connections that I have in the hobby, we were able to connect with Land Rover and was able to get the license from them directly. And then, so that was last year. And then basically from last year, the whole team just honed in on the Series 3 project. And throughout the whole last year, we were just researching, developing the Series 3 body. And that's around the time when we leaked the information that we're working on this, something like this will come out. We wanted to also see the reaction, see if people are interested in it, because we wouldn't know how many people would be interested in such an old truck, right? It's not for everybody, and we understand that, but we wanted to see, kind of gauge what kind of people will be interested in it. You see a lot of Defenders out there, but really there really hasn't been a series truck manufactured. We've seen a couple of the Series 3 trucks 3D printed, which are really nice, but we want more people to be able to enjoy it. So we worked hard on it. So now, yeah, a couple months later, it's finally coming out really soon. So I think the release date will be May 3rd, and we're rushing to get everything done. We're rushing, but I mean, we're trying to speed up the process, but also making sure that the quality is there when we release it. So that's what we're up to right now. Oh, let me show the truck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that way everybody can see. If you were at UST, you saw is it still called a Canary? The yellow one Shawn has.
I use really inventive names. It's called Yellow Truck.
The yellow truck. Oh, it had a ducky in the passenger seat.
So I feel like Ricky would be a better person to talk about the truck, or even Shawn. They know all the technical stuff better than I do. And actually, Ricky built this body. He painted it. I absolutely love it. It's
took a lot of time and effort, because a lot of masking and a lot of coats of paints, because obviously the prototypes needed a lot of work still, and to iron out all the issues and stuff like that. So it did take a little while, and I had to do 2.
You know, like Ricky said, he comes from an automotive painting background, so he knows how to paint bodies and he knows how to work on them. So the 2 bodies that he did came out so nice. I'm always blown away by the work he does for us. He builds all of our trucks.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
good.
the details on them is unbelievable. And Ricky, that's all your handiwork?
Yeah, I do all the body work and chassis and all sorts of different bits and bobs for all our products and pictures and stuff like that.
It's amazing.
So,
Yeah, you got to take the windscreen wipers off.
yeah, I forgot. I almost broke them.
Yeah.
Well, they did not break. They're pretty strong.
Yeah, they just flick out of the way. I learned my lesson.
There you go.
The thing is, the real ones are like that as well. If you want to fold the windscreen down, you actually have to undo the nut and take the windscreen wipers off.
That's
interesting.
wild. That is.
That
I
is
guess I should have
wild.
just been asking Ricky the whole time. They had me build one, and I've never seen one of them in my entire life. I had to contact the Arizona.
The
Land
amount
Rover
of hours I
to set
spent
me up
doing
with the
research
guy.
on this vehicle.
The Arizona Land Rover Club set me up with a guy in Valencia, California, to answer all my questions. Like, what is this knob? What is this? What color should this be? And so he went through and explained all the differences and everything for me. Otherwise it would have been
Yeah, I mean,
just
the thing is with the
nightmares.
Series 3 is there's so many different options for it, and because then when they actually were doing these vehicles, they didn't actually have like a facelift and stuff like that. They just gradually changed it over these years. So that's why you get a lot of like series 2As and 3s, and they all look very similar, and it's very hard to differentiate which year they are.
Yeah, a lot of the research that I did, whether it would be, raw galvanized or it would be painted,
Yeah.
and it was all up to the delivery dealer. It
Yeah.
was, if they wanted them painted, they got them painted. It was all very locale oriented, and traffic laws, because trying to research, does the amber light go on the top or does it go on the bottom?
Yeah.
It just depends on local laws. So
local laws, and also with the fog lights and the reverse lights, they didn't even they didn't even come with reverse lights. In certain countries, you have a reverse light. In a certain year, they introduce that, and fog lights, stuff like that. That's why I made it so basically that the fog light and the reverse light and the number plate light is, you can move it to different locations, so you can build your own custom Series 3, seeing how you want to like build it.
Or for us hacks, we just make it our way, and people just have to
basically.
live with it. I didn't do it wrong. It's just a picture I saw.
Yeah, so everyone can like put their little touch to it. So it's a little bit too high, a little bit too low. Doesn't matter. It's all for yourself to like interpret how you would like the Series 3 to look like.
And I
Because
applaud
that's what
you
it
for
was back
making
in
the
the day.
seats adjustable.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Because I
is
found-
such a small thing, but such a huge deal.
Yeah, because figures, they're all different sizes, I've noticed as well, because I've tried putting scale figures in my trucks, and sometimes, oh, the chair is too far forward, I can't get the legs in, we've got to chop the legs off or something like that. So
This is
make it a little bit adjustable, so you can get a little bit of leeway to put different
Yeah.
figures in and stuff like that. Yeah.
getting a full leg in there.
Mm.
Love the adjustable seat.
And the spring ball detents on the door.
Absolutely.
Genius.
Awesome.
No more
you like
stupid
them?
magnets.
Yep. Absolutely awesome. Love that.
Yeah. So since I have
I
the
guess-
truck, let me show you guys what Shawn just talked about. You see my screen?
I mean, I've had a lot of issues with the magnets as well in the past, because I built a lot of D110s. I've lost count how many D110s I've built, and the same problem with the magnets, and fiddling around with glue and stuff, trying to glue them in, the magnets being so small and everything, getting glue all over you and wrecking your paint work as well, because you drip a drop of glue onto your paint, it just ruins the paint work on it, and there's no way of getting it off.
And I've seen people on the D110s, they glue the magnets in before they check the polarity.
Yes.
The door will never shut.
Then you got to drill a little hole at the back of the magnet and then
To
push
pop
out
it
from
out.
behind.
Yeah. I'm not going to say I've had to fill a hole or two.
Yeah, so the spring ball is a lot easier to use, and I find that it's a lot stronger in holding the door shut.
Mhm. It's pretty tight for sure.
And it's nice that the little spring-loaded check comes assembled. So you just put it in. You don't have to try to figure out how to get the spring in it and all that.
Oh, of
You just
course.
shove it in as a cartridge.
Yeah.
That's what I was
That's
going to
not
ask.
easy.
I was like, how
Simple.
is that? So that comes already captured. It's a unit you
Yes,
install.
it's already captured into
Awesome.
one little piece. You just push into the hole that is there. Well, it's located there. And you just
Okay,
push
now
it
that
in.
we got Ricky here, I got to know. Was it Ricky who came up with the quick release for the body on the BRX02?
That is actually another colleague of ours.
That was
Basically,
brilliant.
we put a load of different ideas on how to do a quick release for this body, and obviously I had a bit of input, he had a bit of input, and it just came out like that.
It's totally brilliant. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Because the last thing you want to do is out on the trail is fiddle around with screws.
And it works so it works so nice. And once you figure out, you can kind of square it up without looking at it. And it's a mechanic
Yeah,
thing.
and then just
Like
pop
you
it
can
down.
just kind of touch where everything's at, and it just pop right, and it's locked in.
Mhm.
And it's so much support for this body too, with the vertical riser and the door jam.
Yeah.
It just,
I mean, that's another big hurdle that we had to overcome, because obviously I really wanted to make this, because at first we were like, the design was one complete body, basically. It wasn't modular. But I thought we have to make this modular, because if you make this modular, you will have a lot more varieties of different things you can do with it without like cutting into things. And keeping it rigid as well, that's another thing, because obviously you see the seal part, it's a really narrow part. So that had to be reinforced with metal. But if you just use a straight piece, you don't get that 90 degrees. So I had to come up with another way of supporting the 90 degrees on there, making sure that that doesn't move at all. So that's where that body mount goes into the actual B pillar.
I think a lot of people will understand it better when they get to build it, but they'll really appreciate that design. It makes the body really sturdy.
Yeah. So I was actually quite surprised at first when we first actually put one together, because when we first done it, we actually only had 3D printed quick release seals, like the metal part that you see now, like Jeremy and Shawn, you know about the metal quick release. But before, when we tested it, we only had it in 3D printed, so it was still a little bit soft. So I was a little bit worried at that time still, because it was still a little bit flexible and the doors seemed to like open up a little bit. So then we had it 3D printed in metal, and it just solved all the issues.
Yeah, I mean it's super fast. I mean, pulling 4 body clips or squeezing 2 sides, the body's off. I mean, with the first time we did it, I did a video of showing a battery change, and it was it's flawless, even covered in mud and grime. They still lock positively and keep on going.
Yeah.
I mean, great job on that part.
Yeah, I mean, I do have like heard some people were complaining about like you getting sand and dirt and stuff in there, but I mean, some things you cannot avoid with like moving parts. That's the issue, and you're playing in dirt, sand, mud. So I mean, there are some flaws, but also there's a benefit of having a quick release, so you don't have to actually undo screws. Imagine you undoing screws and stuff in muddy conditions.
Yeah.
You dropping it in the mud. Good luck finding that screw.
It's fun.
yeah,
Jason's always done a good job too of keeping a lot of things away from me. I'll get like the BRX02 prototype in the mail, and I'm like looking at this body clip going, what is this? And I put it on, I'm like, oh my God, I got to message him. This is like brilliant. Yeah, so even sometimes when they come out, I don't even know about it until it gets at my house.
I mean, quick release systems are definitely like one of the best things for RC, because I mean, we found that out with the BRX01 when that came out, and the quick release system was a really big hit on that. I mean, who wants to fiddle around with little body clips, screws? It's just not so nice to do when you're out in the environments.
Yeah, but I mean, on that body mount, I don't have the quick release for that yet. You went with a nice big screw where if it does get going, I mean, you can get right to it. So you started out great, but then added it. I do need to get the toolless body mount. That's good.
And also another great thing with the designs that we use with the quick release system is it doesn't intrude into the outside design of everything else. So it's all hidden away. That's the most important part.
yeah, and for doing, dollhouse scale, having people wonder how you even mount the body is part of the challenge. It's being hidden,
a big
being
challenge.
subtle. Yeah, it just blends in with the undercarriage, and you just don't see it. And I love it.
I mean, the biggest challenge is literally because a 110 scale rig is not massive.
Yeah.
And it also has to be strong enough to withstand rolls and things like that without falling off. I mean, I used to do drifting, and my bodies are all only velcroed on with like body posts with the velcros before I used magnets and stuff. but one little hit and the body just comes off. So trying to avoid things like that is one of our biggest goals with doing the quick release system.
Now, Jason, have you seen anything like people were doing with that, like ideas that canopy stuff like that on the back, more safari look?
For the Series 3?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, when we were doing research, we saw so many different kinds of Series 3 variants. And but for us, the most important thing right now is to get this one released first, right? And all the optional accessories, we can do it, but I know other people that manufacture things, they are probably going to be interested in making stuff like that too. And one of the guys, Scale Garage System, he makes the really nice scale cages back for the LC70. I know he just pre-ordered the Series 3, and he's probably gonna be looking at making some accessories for it too. But yeah, definitely with the awning in the back, I think it'll look great. I mean, there's so many different kinds of Series 3 you can build. So the possibilities are really unlimited with what you can do with it. And
that brings me back down.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that brings me back down to like the design of being a modular system. I mean, being a modular system will allow you to, in the future, have different projects on the go with the Series 3 body, because you can literally have the Series 3 like just cab without the rear end, but that will be at later date, obviously, because first things first is getting it out released so people can play with it like this. I mean, we already give you the option of being a convertible or a pickup hardtop.
That's
and
awesome.
Different, obviously, the air intakes for the vents for being a petrol version or a diesel version, because some people don't know about that part.
I say Shawn told me about that last week when we were
I
talking.
didn't know about that part until I spoke to the guy.
Which is it? Right or left is diesel or gas?
Left side is gas, right side's diesel.
Yeah.
I built a gas.
It's
I had no
cheaper.
idea.
I accessory colored the little spot on the right side, so mine used to be diesel. I plugged it and put it to the other side. That's my lie.
Well, even in the rear bumper, Shawn, we were talking. I'm like, man, how massive was the spare tire removal? And he's like, no, that's for a PTO. I had no clue that's what the spot.
Yeah, I had no idea that hole in the bumper is for a PTO to go through, so you could be a tractor essentially.
Yeah,
it's a third world country.
Yeah, it's a farm implement. It's kind of like a Unimog. It's a farm based. You wouldn't always just drive it.
Utility vehicle, everything you can think of.
Yeah.
Well, when you start looking these up, you realize these are everything to some people. They're tractors, they're trucks, they're everything. Like the winches, like you can have the capstan winch like a boat has. I'm like, my God, it's like it just keeps going.
Definitely a lot of detail put into it.
Yeah, that's
Can't wait
another
to see it
thing
get
that
out.
we would like going towards, making it as scale detail as possible. And obviously learning from the past bodies and that been out there, what is easily broken off and things like that that we can like improve on, like the wing mirrors and things like that. They are silicone rubbers, so they don't break. So little small details, but takes a lot of designing and figuring out how to actually mount it, because there is actually a lot of engineering side to making a body and scaling it down. It's not just I'll make it smaller.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of little there's a lot of little Easter eggs in this system. I want to call it a system because it's a modular, you can do flatbed later, you can do all kinds of stuff, but you can put a canopy on it. You have the bonus item for the pre-orders as well, for the spare tire hood.
Yeah,
things like that are just going to, you'll see so many different versions of this truck that you won't just have the same truck. Like a D110 is a D110 is a D110 in different colors. But this one, I think you're going to see a lot more individuality with it.
Yes, that's the whole point of
Yep.
being able to making it modular and giving you a choice on certain ways that you can build it. So I mean, there's a little bit of filler work involved, but if you're a good modeler, shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, well, what's cool with the different options, it gets you to research it. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
wait a minute, like what's this? Why does it go over here? Or what if I put it on this side? I mean, that's one thing cool. Normally you buy a body kit, open the book, step 1 through step 20, you're done. Where now it's like, well, wait a minute, what if I do this? It changes the whole look of the truck or how the truck was manufactured originally. That's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's like 4 people on this board that I was like, help me make this decision. I don't know what to do. And luckily, when I was doing my research, I found one of a Series 3. It was a NATO vehicle that was brought over, and it's been sitting here in Maryland for the past 30 years.
Yeah, I think Jason showed me a photo.
Yeah, so like I was like, I'm going to take a drive. Like I know where that's at, and yep, it's still sitting there, and nope, he won't sell it. But I was able to gawk, and
How did you find it?
swear to God, just Google. I was Googling Series 3, and I came across this. It was a for sale ad for a property, and it was on that property. And when they sold the property, the truck stayed on it. They bought it, and they don't want to let it go because it's always been there. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's close
Did
by.
you see it in this for sale, like in the background or something?
Yeah.
So you were looking to buy a house, but then you saw a truck in the background, and that's how you found it.
Yeah. I legitimately looking for Series 3, and I guess it was in the listing for that property.
For that house.
Yeah, for that house, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
You're really only buying a Series 3.
No,
The house is the option, yeah.
it's a shame the property had already sold. I'd have probably
Buy
bought the
it,
property.
or just buy the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you see Jeremy selling a house, but he has a Series 3, you know what happens.
You know what happened? And now I live in Whitehall, Maryland.
That's crazy. So there's a bunch of people jumping in. I'm looking for questions. If anybody in the chat has a question about BoomRacing, AsiaTees, or the new 109 release, hit it, put it up there. We'll post it. We'll ask it.
I mean, going back to Matt, you asked the question about the accessories for the Series 3. A lot of thought has been really put into the design concept of the truck. We wanted to, because the original body, when they built it in the factory, they built it with a lot of different body panels, and that's why you see so many people build different variants of these trucks, because it's really easy to customize the truck. So when we designed this model, we just basically use the same design concept. There's a lot of different body panels. So this opens up 2 things. One, if you want to do custom work on your own, now with 3D printing, it's super easy. You don't have to chop anything. It's already all separated, all chopped up for you. So to build the way you want it to, it's super easy. Plus, I think it also opens up the possibility for us to come up with future products. And I can't give away too many things, but you know, by looking at how modular the design is, you can kind of tell what's going to happen down the road in the coming couple of months. Hopefully within the next couple of months, maybe 1-2 years. So yeah, this for us, this is going to be a big future-proof product, and it's going to be around for quite a long time.
See, that's what's cool, because a lot of companies, as we all know, they build it for a year, they on to something else, and that project gets dumped, and some of us are just getting it as soon as they're coming out with something new and they moved on. So hearing that you're going to continue making options, modifications with a body, that's cool.
So if you look at the Defender that for the BRX02, we've been playing with that body for how many years, Ricky? Like 6, 7.
Probably, yeah, something like that, about 5.
That's been a long time, right? And we're still coming up with. We just came up with some parts to build the Spectre Defender, right? And then I think I remember last time on the show I showed you guys a D130. So we're still working on that truck, and that's the cool thing about the Land Rover trucks is there's so many different types of Land Rovers that you can build, and so yeah, it's not just a one and done thing. There's so many different types of trucks.
I may have beaten you to some of them.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you.
We'll see who has more time in developing and designing that.
Yeah, some tells me it's them.
Oh, and we're bringing out the big boys. Check this one out.
Holy cow!
That's
Ricky
one of
Lopez.
my favorites.
Yeah.
I really like that. It's just different from what you see out there all the time.
The D130.
That's awesome.
Obviously, that's had the chop in the body and everything, and whole new rear bed. So it's literally you can take actually just the cab off, and the rear bed will stay there.
That is cool. So is that on a regular BRX02 platform?
That's on the regular BRX02 platform,
Really?
extended slightly.
Extended slightly. I like that.
Yeah.
Way to keep it.
Slightly.
All the
It's
detail.
actually- I don't know if you got a 6x6 nearby, but it's the same length as a 6x6,
Wow.
but it's slightly different in design for the rear axles and obviously the shock towers and things like that, and the extension. Because obviously the 6x6 one slopes down a little bit, and this one is actually straight, so it's slightly different.
That's awesome.
Now when's that going to be available?
Well, this is the only one at the minute. I myself want to build one myself to put in my display case, but my display cases are a little bit empty at the minute. I literally just got a few drift cars, and then I got like a 1/14 scale record that I'm building. That's one of my records that I'm building at the minute.
Cody's in the chat, Dixieland. He said, we need little metal covers for the rear tail lights.
Yes, metal covers like the like little light guards.
Like
Yeah.
the brush guard style.
That's what I was thinking.
Are they like the ones on a Defender?
Well, the thing is, we've been so overwhelmed with design stuff for this vehicle, and it's not literally just for this vehicle, obviously, because we've got to obviously design the boxes and instruction manuals and things like that. I mean, we are working on like obviously option parts for this vehicle as well, but you've got to give us a little bit of time. We're only a small team.
Now, do you get vacation before the little shorter wheelbase comes out, or are you rolling straight from one to the other?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, the 88 one is actually in the workings. I can't give you a date of when it's being released, but it's in the workings.
Jason, do you let him sleep?
So this is what it actually happens in the office. I see a lot of people wanting to have the 88, right? I get messages and I see on Facebook, for example, how many people want the 88. And so I go back to the team and I say, hey, when is it going to happen? When can we release it? And Ricky goes and says, I think about 10 months. And then I said, no, can you cut that down? And then after a couple of rounds of negotiations, he's like, Okay, 7 months. And then I'm thinking, okay, let's cut that down into 5 months. And so it's always like a negotiation between, but we want to make we want to make sure, the quality is always there. That's
on
number
par.
one.
I mean, the quality is most important to me because it shows that you have interest in your products, that you're not putting out anything just, oh, it will do that, just throw it out. I don't like that because I used to be a consumer myself, and the way I see things is the way that a consumer would see it. Like, I don't want to just receive any old thing and then, yeah, that will do.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's been a
and
couple
the
releases.
most important thing is literally the quality of our products that we release.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I would say that's what's good about it. There's been a couple releases we've probably all purchased, one here and there. They arrived broken in the boxes. So I mean, because they rushed it to get the turnover and all that stuff. So putting the time into it, making sure it's 100% before it hits out there, nothing but happy customers.
No, I can totally understand, when people might have, mistakenly released something that had some troubles with it. But this is where I had to learn a lot from Ricky, is he really stressed how important it is to release things in the highest quality form that we can release. Let the product do the talking for us. We don't have to say too much. Let the product do the talking, and then the rest will follow. And I really had to learn that from him because, I mean, as a business owner, you want to release the products and get the sales, right? You have overheads and you want to pay for stuff. But Ricky really had to like slow me down, sit me down, and then tell me, hey, you want to do this, in the long term, and you don't want to rush things out like that and ruin your name. And I really appreciate that perspective. That's why it's really important to bring different people together in a team. And right now, I feel like we have a really good core team. We don't have a lot of people in our company. We're a small team, but yeah, it's working out so far. So
Cody said he'll send you pictures of what he's talking about for the rear taillights.
okay, is he talking about this? Are you talking about this piece right here?
Cody,
Right now, I think Ricky painted it. They're plastic, but it's just painted. Cody, just send me a picture directly.
Hopefully you heard that.
And one of the things that I may or may not modify vehicles immediately. I might be known for not having anything stock. And
The best way
honestly,
to be.
and honestly, the boom trucks, the BRX-02 that I bought last year, I had one of the first ones, and it's a wonderful build experience, first off, but there's really nothing that needs to be changed. I don't need to change any driveline components. I don't need to change any chassis components. I just don't need to do any of those things. So it makes it a very complete base vehicle for me to customize visually more than mechanically. And I think that goes really underappreciated in today's RC market is, you can buy a SEX10 Pro and all day long, and 3 days later after it's released, you're going to have chassis kits. You're going to have moving servos, and you're going to have a whole lot of mechanical change. But these trucks don't need it. The balance, especially for a leaf spring truck, the balance, the anti torque bars, like all that stuff, it just drives beautifully, and it drives well with the body weight. And I just super appreciate that, and it just makes it a unique buyer's experience to not have to deal with drivetrain upgrades out of the box. I can just focus on doll housing the body as much as I wish.
I mean,
that's a really good point. And it's basically, goes back to what I learned. My brother, my older brother used to work for a computer chip company. He designs computer chips. and he designed one of the older computer phone chips for Apple. And he told me one thing, you know, it's not how many engineers you have in your team, is how good that one engineer you have in your team that can make that breakthrough. And I truly appreciate this, because we have such a small team here. And but you know, if you take any company's top 5 guys and go up against our top 5 guys, I think we will do really well. It's not how many people you have in your team, it's what those couple of guys that you have can do. And I truly think the designs that we have been able to come up with, especially with the mechanical side, that's done by a different colleague of ours. He's not here with us right now, but yeah, we truly appreciate that. I don't know what we would do, you know, if he, you know, without his designs. It's just so important.
Yeah,
But then you know, one person, even with his designs, he needs a lot of input from all of us to give him ideas what to do. So Ricky obviously gives a ton of input. I give my input. But even with like a good design, you got to have like really good manufacturing capabilities. And we have another colleague who is fully in charge of that, working with all of the different vendors, the manufacturers, the factories. So yeah, it's really you know, teamwork that brings out all of the goodies.
Definitely, as Jason said, teamwork is so important. I mean, I really think that working in a team, you have different people's opinions on certain things, and mechanical system especially. I mean, one person cannot think of all of these. So it is good to have a very good, like a very strong team that work together really well and understand each other in different ways of what you want to like produce in the end. And
it's funny that you embrace teamwork that way, because it's exactly why the people that are watching this is we were all members of a team with similar circumstances where we all brought our piece to it, and together, you know, we made each other stronger, and that, you know, that's what you guys embrace. So it's, you know, we relate to it very easily. And we appreciate a good team.
And
you know, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say another thing I watch just with the social media side is you listen to the consumer, the hobbyist. I see literally you respond, message me, we'll work this out.
You're very involved.
Yeah.
Compared to other companies.
Yeah.
Rather than dealing with tons of emails, you insert yourself rather than having someone else do it. We're having that smaller company. You're able to do that. You're able to do the connections that you have with several of us in the hobby.
I mean, the most important thing with, as you say, we respond to all the issues and things. I mean, you learn from them.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no company out there that produces stuff that hasn't got any issues. I can hands down say that. I mean, there is always issues that come up, but it's what you do with the issues afterwards, how you resolve the issues, how you come like help the person out and overcome that issue. I think that's the most important part.
Us being the underdogs of the hobby really motivated us to really do better and try to always, like, I would say, go above and beyond and try to please the customers, and just the way that we started, and we really wanted to improve and be better and learn from the hobby, and it's still motivating us to continue to innovate. Yeah,
it's as simple, and I'm holding one. Your Pro Build, it's the only scale tool I've never stripped out. I don't know how many times I've taken wheels apart with it.
Yep.
It's little things like that where normally you got to buy stuff. I mean, you could charge extra for that if you don't
The
have-
tools,
Yeah.
the tools are fantastic.
yeah,
They work.
the little details.
The wheel nut tool, which I did not find until after my fingertips were a little raw. Like, I was like,
Thumb.
oh,
Twist it.
got it. Yeah. But they're and the door latch tool.
Oh yeah, you need that to open the door.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's, it's fully thought out.
Yeah, it's a little key.
Yep. Got your key.
So if
And
I
I
want to
think
take your truck, bring that key.
Yeah.
It will, the production version will come with the Land Rover retro logo on it. So you do have a special one without it.
Yeah. Your key special.
Special.
eBay.
You know those little tools, the scale tools, even though they're such like a minute detail with like such a a big product, we spent a lot of time working on that little tool to perfect it.
Well,
Like,
your one
yeah,
inch
these-
tool, the same
Uh-huh.
thing for the 1 inch wheels. I mean, it's a screw for the scale, but you have a wheel nut built on both sides, and it's for TRX4M and SCX24 side. It's both the tools are in the pack with the wheels. It's that little extra, which I'm sure costs, but you include.
Yeah.
Last thing we want is people buy our products and have to especially go out and buy the tools to actually like.
I've done
go
that.
for the product.
And
I mean, that's what we hate doing, right? So why would we want that for everybody? Like, we're creating more products and we don't want to create more headaches. And so, yeah, just include the tools so people can go out and enjoy the product.
and you like
Yeah,
your-
it's just,
the wheels on these, correct me if I'm wrong, with the scale hardware, like that's another step above that I've seen, is including actual scale wheel nuts with a kit, and including the tool for it is a bonus, because I've received wheels that had scale hardware with no tool, and I'm like, now I gotta buy a tool and I gotta wait on it. But like that's the level of detail in this truck. I mean, the tires are super sticky and everything else, but those wheels are fantastic. I mean, I can't wait to paint them when it warms up. But it's
Make sure you sand them down enough.
yes.
Before you paint it.
Hey, Jeremy, it's perfectly warm here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I got about another
degrees, I heard.
I got another like week or 3 before we jump another 10 degrees so I can paint outside, because it's a little caustic in my garage still, but it's I can't say enough. It's just so well thought out. And
If we gone to so much detail in the scale side, I think that we had to include the wheel nuts as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
it's a bit
hubs,
weird.
the wheel nut covers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're perfect.
Yeah, those took a little while to perfect as well.
Now that I have the tool, I can just take it off and I don't have to
Yeah.
ruin my fingernails.
I mean, I have chunks in my fingers for no reason.
Yeah, there's a tool.
I don't.
Right tool for the job, as they say.
did you do all 4 wheels and then you found out you had a scale tool?
Yes.
Mhm. Maybe we need to put that into the manual and make it like more prominent and
Yeah.
not have everybody experience the same thing.
I think it's more fun if you put it on mesh.
But then you obviously have another
People
prototype,
like messing
so-
with me, but I
You're
mean,
never gonna appreciate how great the tool is if you didn't do it the other way.
yeah,
Sean, did you use the tool?
but it's
I kind of didn't. Like,
He's digging through the box.
I also
Where's
didn't have the tool for all the scale hardware, so I had to make my own tools to like figure out how to do them little tiny like nuts on the wheels and stuff, because I didn't
Oh,
have
so
the
you didn't
correct-
get it? You didn't get the actual tool with it?
No, I made my own.
Okay. I mean, the production one is definitely going to have the tool
Well, I
in
got one now.
It probably got left in the post.
No, I mean the truck that Sean built, he had it a couple months ago. So we probably didn't have the tool at the time.
I had like really cool
Yeah,
prototype instructions. like, you know,
Yeah.
with no pictures and kind of words that almost made sense. And I was like, this is great.
Well, I can
Pretty
say
much good.
you did good work because it exists. So
Yeah, the scale screws were one of the last details we put inside the kit. We were actually thinking whether we want to put that included in the
Originally
kit
it was cap
because
hits.
it's sorry.
I mean, originally they were cap hits, and then we
Yeah,
decided
cap
at
hits.
the last minute change it. I mean, it's scale enough. I mean, we should really go with scale screws.
Right up to USTE. It's like, oh yeah, we got these new screws coming out. Here, I'll send them to you. Oh my God, dude, it's in a box already. So, all right, let's dig it out the box.
You gotta show people the good stuff.
Oh, it
Yeah,
all
I
worked
mean,
out great. It was a great experience.
This body
so
and
much.
obviously it's not just working on the body, it's working on the chassis as well, like making sure that the body fits over the chassis, because we use the BRX02 platform, but the thing is it doesn't fit directly over it straight away. You do have to change things around. The axles are like narrower. I mean, there's a ton load of stuff. I mean, to do all this like pretty much in a year, like designing the whole body and making sure it fits over the chassis and everything, and what we need to modify on the chassis side to get it so it fits properly on there with no issues.
Now, Ricky, for someone who has a BRX02, they smash the body. Is there going to be a possibility to take their existing BRX02 chassis D110 and convert it to that, or is it some major modifications for that?
Yes, it's possible. I mean, the only few differences on there is the servo mount, obviously, because the servo mounts differently. Front and rear axle, the ATees instead of 90s. And the chassis rail has actually two holes that are countersunk instead of using button heads. So if Jason points out to the chassis,
So
chassis
you're talking
rail
about
right at the front.
These two holes right here?
Yes. I mean, for the O2 version, that one has button heads. And for the Series 3, that one is countersunk. So basically, it doesn't interfere with the
anti-wrap bar.
What's that bar called? Yeah, the anti-wrap bar. Because if the button heads, it will stick out a little bit, and this will clear now with no issues. And pretty much that is about it. That is the difference. And obviously front and rear bumper are different. So you can convert your BRX02 to a Series 3 BRX02, but obviously it will involve buying a few different things like 80 axle conversion kit, front and rear bumper, servo mount, and maybe your ESC plate if you want to move the ESC to the front. So it's not a huge amount of parts, but it's just a few that you need to change a little bit. And shocks, I mean the dampers, they're shorter.
Okay.
You're also gonna want to change your wheels. I mean, if you want to be scale correct, I guess, and then the tires. So it's a bunch of stuff. It's a long list actually.
Now, what we're looking at there, Jason, is that the stock wheels and tires that come with the kit?
Yes, they are. These are the new wheels. We call them the SLR. Stock Land Rover wheels. And the Mileage Classic tires. These are not like completely new. They've been out for a couple of months, and we use them on this truck.
Also, don't forget to bring up, they also accept the SP Road Tracker inserts.
The Rock Monsters.
Yeah, the
Right.
Rock Monsters.
That I'm running them in mine. They work perfectly, like no compression issues.
But with the pickup truck being a lot lighter than the Defender, do you still recommend people upgrading to the Rock Monster inserts?
Honestly, yes, because foams break down over time, and people are going to add stuff to it. It's going to get heavier. It's going to get bigger. It's just a progression. I think if you start with the inserts even being light, they still compress, they still grab. I was out running today and I was running well over 55-degree angles and they were holding fine, wrapping around rocks. I think it's just it's a good upgrade across the board. Plus it also moves some of the weight down a little bit lower and pushes your center of gravity down probably, good 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And I just think it's a good one across the board. And you can side hill really well.
Mm.
Another thing that I have to add is obviously the motor, because the servo has been moved underneath the motor plate has to be turned upside down. It works the same way.
Oh, it's just a flip.
Just
Yeah,
a
that-
flip.
Oh wow.
We've
That one got me
we've
for a
designed
minute.
this in the, like,
Yeah, I think that
basically-
tripped up Jeremy for a while.
Yeah.
That got me real good when it showed up like that. I'm like, how come nothing fits?
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
They did that just to make sure you read the directions.
Because we designed that when we first ever actually designed the gearbox, but we didn't actually leak that out to anybody that you can actually just flip the motor mount and obviously have the motor up a little bit more and obviously get more clearance. Because I've actually done a build with a BRX01 where I actually have an axle mounted servo. And for that, you also need to flip the gearbox upside, like the motor mount upside down to give you that extra little bit of clearance for it to go up and down.
Nice.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we actually have a servo that is specially designed to go on axles. It doesn't have the ears where the 4 screws sit. It's actually mounted on the bottom now, and there's 2 screws at the bottom that just hold the servo in place.
Interesting.
Yeah, Python, I think it's called.
Yeah. I was gonna say I
Yeah, the
was
Python
looking at
Black.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I've always appreciated too is the fact, like I have one of the original of the 20 BRX01s, and I still got the old style frame rails, and all of the holes in all of the pieces are there for the winch that came out how many years later. Like
Yeah.
it was like so planned into the design, but yet there was no winch existing. I appreciate that kind of stuff.
That's why with the design side, there's so many different little hurdles because we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot and design something that has been changed later on. So we have to think in further ahead than you just producing that one part.
Yeah, and what I hear from the other designers, the difficult part now is retrofitting everything because now we have so many different types of products, and if you want to put every product into a chassis, then you got to really figure out all of it. And designing something new, you got to figure out all of it, all of those things. It's yeah, it makes it a bit more complicated, but that's the beauty of these cars is we do put the thought into it, and we spend the time designing it right so that all of the other accessories can work onto the chassis.
Now with this, so no modifications messed it up with like your selectable drive, T cases and stuff.
Don't
You're
ask
over.
that.
Does that all drop right in there? Nothing. As
I mean,
with
there
BRX02?
is slightly different. I mean, like the selectable drive works on the BRX01 and the BRX02.
Right.
But obviously, there's slight little few parts that are slightly different. Like obviously, on the BRX01, the cable is a lot shorter. For the BRX02, it's a lot longer, and obviously the mount for the actual mini servo is slightly different. So there are slight little changes, but the actual part will go into the actual car. Yeah,
That's
but
one
obviously
we
the
definitely
main part is obviously the transfer case that will fit with no issues on the 01, 02, Series 3. That's sort of thing that we had to work with, making sure that all that stuff fits into the chassis and the body goes onto it as well with no issues.
Awesome. Yeah, that's something's cool. I think I was talking to Shawn about that. It's like I want to try it, make it rear wheel drive and have fun.
Yeah. Yep.
And the transfer case has you can put the front overdrive gear set in that transfer case as
Yes,
well.
both the dig system and the SWD both are capable of handling the overdrive gears. So, but obviously it's permanent overdrive. So if you want just rear wheel drive, you can just stick it in the rear wheel drive and just have rear wheel drive, and it won't affect being an overdrive or not. Or if you want the dig system, obviously, then it's either full on dig system with the overdrive when you unlock it, obviously.
That's awesome. Definitely adds more scaleness to this hobby. Going out there just plowing through, or rear wheel only, and let her eat.
So
Yeah,
so
because
Matt,
obviously-
you've been sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that the new BRX02 for the Series 3 also has a different transfer case. That one out of the box is already overdrive ready. So you can literally just put the overdrive gears into that transfer case. With the old BRX02, it's not available then because we just literally changed it for this one.
Mhm. We just kept, you know, innovating and just continue to give more value to the customer. So we didn't stop there with the transfer case that we already had with the BRX01 and 02, which if you want to switch to overdrive gears, you have to get the whole complete transfer case, a new one. But with the new BRX02 109 coming out, the transfer case is already overdrive ready. So all you need to do is just get the gears, the overdrive gears, and you don't have to get the whole transfer case.
You hear that, Jeremy?
Yep, I have it written on my list.
That's awesome. That's a good thing.
And
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all you know, we talk to consumers all the time. We talk to hobbyists like Shawn. He gives us a lot of perspective from kind of like just right outside you know, the design team. So he gives a lot of he bridges the gap between the consumer and the manufacturer's perspective, and that really helps a lot. And to kind of like tell us, hey, what kind of things you should include with the chassis, and maybe what should be an option part. And I think that's something that people find about our chassis, our products, that they kind of like. It's a lot of thought put into it, not like just throw something at you and okay, you upgrade everything.
But I think too, the other one, over the years, there's been an evolution. If you look at the BRX01 to the 02, the upgraded high clearance links, whatever you want to call them, they were an option for the 01, but then they showed up in the 02. So you can see the evolution of the product. It doesn't just every time you have to buy the upgrades. Now the new version comes with the upgrades. It's like it's a constant learning. And there's been a lot of times I go running around and I'm taking pictures of stuff. So I remember to call Jason when I get back in cell coverage. Go, hey, check this out. This guy was talking about this. And then pretty soon we're talking about a product or something. Like the plastic wheels. Like, who would have thought that could have ever been a thing? But it was. The spare tire.
Spare tire.
Yeah.
And they work as real tires, as I've told a couple of you guys.
They do.
Well, had to use it. It wasn't meant to be used, but we used it.
I mean,
Yeah,
we always try to innovate with different ideas, and it's great hearing customers giving us feedback on certain things, and then we obviously go back and then we brainstorm, see what we can improve upon stuff and innovate a different, like, make it so it's not like everybody's putting out the same things. So it's a little
Now
bit
is
different.
the Series 3, is it all the, like with the BRX02, when I was first starting, I couldn't believe how many metal parts for durability and strength. Is the Series 3 based that same thing, or did some things get changed? Same exact setup. That's a huge, I see some people say about the price, you're getting what you pay for. It's unbelievable. There literally is no durability performance upgrades to be done when you get these kits. from the
Yeah,
I mean,
it's,
we try to give you like obviously what you pay for. I mean, the main objective is obviously we can make things out of plastic, but people just upgrade it in the end anyway.
Yes.
So we just go directly to the best option for it. And then if further down the line there's slightly some changes or something, we don't want to just throw out a metal part for it. If we do throw out a metal part for it, we want to innovate on it.
yeah. Well, you see that in so many releases. As soon as the release drops, there's upgrade aluminum parts for a sale for sale the next day.
Yeah, but it's the exact same copy of the plastic part.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just defeats the
Awesome
object.
job.
Yeah, and that's that goes back to what Jeremy was talking about and stuff earlier. But I mean, buying a $600 truck and then having to change out the axles and change out driveline components. Where this truck, the stuff you guys are putting out, it's done. You're done. You literally build it, run it, and love it.
Gives you time to focus on your body.
That's right.
Yes, focus
To be
on the
honest with
body.
you, when you go out crawling and playing, what do most people talk about?
What it looks like.
How cool.
Yes, exactly what it looks like. You spend most of your time tinkering on the body. Especially on hard bodies. I mean, Lexan bodies, yes, you tinker with the chassis more because you want maximum performance. So with hard bodies, it's more tinkering with the body because it's more modeling than actually RCing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the performance end of what you guys have, Shawn, we
Yes,
talked
obviously
about-
we had to make sure that if we throw out put out a chassis, it has to perform.
Yeah, the degrees Shawn has said before, and I mean, I think I'm at 50 miles since January 1st on the BRX02, and in 50 miles being goofy, I probably rolled it 3 times, and that's trying to get this. I'm staring through the camera, not paying attention to what the truck was doing. I mean, they perform. It's unbelievable the balance and durability of the platform, and then you throw in these bodies out there. Great job.
Sorry,
go ahead. And that's created a little bit of a problem for me because I used to always have more miles on my trucks than everybody else's. But now I got the Series 3, I got to go put miles on, but yet I got to run the orange one so I can stay ahead of Matt. Like this whole problem I got.
I'm gonna start keeping my numbers to myself for the next month.
I know I'm at 133 right now, and I'm trying to stay ahead of you.
I've been with him on those runs, and I'm telling you now, he is not gentle.
He calls that truck yard sale. I mean, I run it. I actually mounted my GoPro today on the roof. So you can see when people are like, oh, you're babying, it's a scale truck. No, I'm not. It will outlast the Fix Enduro because it's already been through 3 of them.
Yeah.
It's bad when you seen the winch review video I did where I launched my truck across my garage because the little string broke. I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna need a new body after this one.
Because we had to give the winch a fail point, and the fail point has to be the string. You can't fail on the electronic side or the gear.
It tried to pull the Tacoma.
Yeah. Because to be honest with you, I mean, the first thing we like when we designed the BRX02, I mean, I've had a D110 with the old with one of the old chassis and that, and I found it didn't have enough power. That's where we come in with the different gearbox and come up with the 01 first before we actually done the 02. And the 02 is for the Defender, obviously. And the main issues that I always had was frying my motors, because the old gearbox didn't have the torque that it needed to go up certain things. I mean, because it's already a really heavy car and a really heavy body and everything. Add that all together, and the gearing is not like, there's not enough torque in the gearing. It just fried my motors. I even tried an 80-turn motor going super slow, and it still fried my motor.
I'm a motor junkie, so I do horsepower and doing the Castle system, and I'm going to try a Micro X on this one.
I'm pretty sure we'll hold up to it because I put I think a 36 kV motor in one Castle Sidewinder, and it flew.
Yeah.
He
That
used
one-
to drag race the original one, by
Yeah,
the way.
this one has a 3,800 kV Mamba X in it, so it's spicy. It's spicy,
Yeah.
but it's got
It's very spicy.
Yeah.
Full flat out sleeper mode drag car.
He
Yeah,
did.
Rick,
He
second
got me.
yeah.
Ricky, do you remember when we first tested the 01 with the transmission? We put a
Yeah.
Castle 6,000 kV in it to try to like test to see what it would do. Remember that?
Yeah. it
And you
handled
were
it no
driving the
problem.
truck. Yeah, 6,000 kV.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing that video. That thing was uncontrollably fast.
That's a
Yeah.
drag car.
Very fast. I'm
Only
surprised
bar
that
on the-
no one's built a drag car with this gearbox yet. It's not a crawler anymore. It's a speed crawler.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I saw it, I got super excited and I was thinking, whoa, this is a new way to play with RC cars. That's so cool. Super speed with crawlers.
I mean, if I had a bit more free time, I would want to explore a little bit more with making a few little different models, shall I say? Because I've always had this idea of actually using that gearbox and a solid rear axle with independent front suspension and making a drift car out of it. So it's just a few little ideas like
You see Jason's
up.
head right now, Turner?
Yeah.
He's thinking.
That's the look. 'Cause
I'm thinking,
what-
hey, don't give out all of our ideas.
yeah, all I heard was
this is just
all
something
I
I
heard
want
was
to build like
pre-run.
myself, like just to like
That's
That's a little-
that's where I was at, Jeremy. That's exactly where I was at.
all I heard was pre-runner.
Yeah. Yeah, he said the drift at the end of it. I was like, man, that's not where I was going with that.
Yeah, I mean, when we first actually done the 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, the SWD transfer case, I mean, that was a lot of fun with throwing into wheel drive and just letting it rip.
I'm thinking like class 11 Volkswagen. I'm just throwing it out.
A camper van, eh?
We definitely need some open diff axles though.
Yeah.
And off-center pumpkins. That's what I've been seeing like pretty much
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, offsetter pumpkins big time.
We were
O-
somebody was
open
just
diffs.
talking about that.
We were.
If you scale drive, if you dollhouse a truck with open diffs, it completely changes how you drive that truck, and it makes it so much more realistic and much more challenging. I mean, when they did the unlocking hubs, SSD did them, like that's a way to try and get after that. But I would much rather see, just spider gears or something realistic in the pumpkin. Of course, half the people will go in there and try and weld them, but it's just it's a country thing to do. But
Like the lockers.
yeah, put lockers in it. Yeah, but yeah, driving with open diffs is challenging when you're used to a fully locked vehicle. It really changes the way you drive.
Totally, I know what you mean because I've had trucks that have open diffs that weren't lockable. And, yeah,
I was gonna say,
it's a
Jeremy,
whole different ball game.
what truck
Yep.
did you do that to when we took it out to Susquehanna? What was that? Wasn't the axles for the truck, but it was the first time out with the SCX6s, I think. But I cannot remember. Was it rift axles on a Marksman?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what you were trying to drive, and here goes.
Yeah.
It was like, what in the world? This thing won't go. So then
Yeah, that was with 150,000 weight oil in the diff, and it completely changed the way you had to drive it. Like you had to think about where you're driving.
So it could be an
we
option.
We are looking into it. I mean, we are only a small team, as Jason mentioned, and because with the Series 3 taking up so much of our design team and the time and everything, and we don't just want to put out anything. So things have to take a little bit on the back burner for certain other things to actually grow, like become like a really good product first before we actually
throw a whole bunch of time and like design aspects into this other product.
Yeah, well,
I
I was
mean,
gonna say, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
so many trucks you buy as a kit, you buy every upgrade possible that's out there. You build it. Me personally, I get bored with it in like 2-3 months. Where if you feather these changes or upgrades, that the unlockable diff, I mean, a year from now it pops out. It totally changes the whole truck. Now I bring that truck out, it's a brand new truck to you, how it's going to react and respond out on the trail. So that's good. Don't worry about rushing this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of design hurdles that we have to overcome with obviously lockable and unlockable diffs. Because obviously it's not just, oh, we just make it unlockable. It's the design aspects of there's not a lot of room. We have to incorporate the leaf springs and obviously off-center pumpkins and things like that, and making sure that gears can hold up to it. So there's a lot of that in the design aspects.
I wouldn't even worry about making them selectable. Like you're in or you're out.
In or you're out. I mean, I've had a truck before. I can't remember what truck it was again, but there's literally a grub screw that you undo and do up that you can make them lockable and unlockable.
Yeah.
So that's another way of doing it.
Yeah.
But the spider gears inside will still have to be really strong.
Yeah, to me, it did that with the F250, I believe. Platform.
It's what I can't remember. I've had so many trucks over my years, and playing with so many different products, and yeah.
A lot of design, a lot of options, a lot of time.
Yes. Because it's not just throw that on there, it'll work. You got to test it, make sure it actually works. And because obviously with the leaf springs, it only gives you so much room.
Yeah.
What you said about the gears, I mean, he's already got a name out there with how heavy duty or durable the gearing is. The AR-44 gears. So
yeah,
it's to keep that name and that reputation, you got to put some time in.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
It's
The last thing
surprising.
you want is
I
take
pulled
it
apart
out.
my 01 after several years of runtime. I never took it apart. We used it to test the how waterproof his receiver box really was, and we had to pull it back out with a string because it went too deep for the controller. And everything, I pulled them gears apart and they're perfect inside, just absolutely perfect. That's hundreds of miles on that little thing. That poor truck's gone through hell.
That's a benefit, a great benefit of having a metal housing is consistency. Like you don't get that flex, which is usually what ends up tearing up gear sets. Is you have a lot of leverage going on in there, and having a metal housing that's it's a good precision fit. Gear sets will last forever.
Yeah.
They're set up, they'll stay that way.
yep.
That black grease, that graphite grease, is actually really nice stuff. It stays without becoming too gummy or anything.
And the black grease also helps with wearing things in. It's got little fine particles in it that actually like work as a sandpaper and that create friction to get you a perfect mesh on the actual gears. So that it also lubricates, but it doesn't wear down the gear, but it increases the meshing consistency.
Yeah, when I was 13 years old, a guy ran a hobby shop. He had a tube of toothpaste on a workbench. We used to go back and build our cars. And in the Tamiya world back then, grasshopper with the plastic gears, he would squeeze in toothpaste on those instead of grease when we first built them. And then he'd run it with a power drill right on the axle. And it just made a wicked, terrible noise. And then all of a sudden it would just go quiet. And he's like, okay, now tear it apart, clean it up, put a little bit of grease in there. And those gear sets lasted forever and they were smooth, they were quiet. And it's the same principle. It's getting the set of gears to mesh together with that little bit of grit,
Because
to smooth everything out.
yeah, because if you think about every single part on that car is manufactured, like, and you will always get like a few like millimeters of difference, like not even millimeters, like hundreds of millimeters. And that will cause a difference in obviously the gear meshing and things like that. So to get that perfect mesh again, you have to have a little bit of abrasion to get that perfect mesh.
It works.
So that's a cool little tip. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Black
My
grease in
question-
all your gearing.
My question to Jeremy is, what kind of toothpaste is it? Some kind of magic toothpaste?
So it
I
was,
mean, every toothpaste has abrasive material in it.
yeah, it was, I think it was just Crest. I think it was just cheap Crest, and it was when I was 12. So they probably make it different now, but
Yeah.
there was no such thing as
Safe.
gels. There was no other, it was just Crest.
It's like well, going back to like my motor, like working on cars, like when you're polishing a car, the paintwork,
Mhm.
you have really micro fine like polishing compound, which is like really fine sandpaper basically. And that's how you get your polish and your shine on your cars. And that's what the black grease does in the gearing. It basically polishes the surfaces. So you get a smooth transition between gears.
That is pretty darn cool. I think we were going to talk about AsiaTees, but we are almost out of time. So 109. I'm
We
sitting
need
here
to
reading
keep
all my
going,
notes.
man.
I'm like,
They're always talking about different design aspects, different mechanical sort of stuff. And yeah, we're always brainstorming different stuff. But our puppy at the minute is literally trying to get all man on hand and get the series 3 out to the public.
Yeah, I mean, we only have so much bandwidth. And so right now our focus is to release the 109. And we actually have other projects this year that we have not yet announced. Nobody knows about these projects yet. But I think people are going in for a treat. It's some really nice stuff coming out.
You're gonna
And
hint
it's got-
out. One of them?
Sorry.
You're gonna hint out one of them right now, live.
Okay. Sure. It's gonna be a new. Well, I shouldn't say new. It's gonna be a chassis. Different wheelbase.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about the 88. So we're working on something.
Ooh.
Ooh, are we going shorter? Like short, like 2.89, 289.
It will be something that people have been asking us to do. So
Your
Yeah,
inbox
like,
might be
a
really
little bit more.
Can't
I
give
mean,
away
right
too
now
much.
we have the 01, which is a 313 mil wheelbase. We have this one 334. And then so I think we're missing a shorter one, but we have the 88 coming out. That one is 285. Yeah, the other one that we're working on, it's nothing related to a series Land Rover. That's I guess that's all I can say right now.
That's how
Man,
he
you have
ends the
so
show.
much good self-control. I mean, like you were almost there to say something. Like, say it.
We'll keep it
I
right
can see
between
Jason
the
biting his
right here.
tongue. He's like, I can't say too much.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been. You said it earlier, and it's from what we see. You said the underdog. You guys have really come out. I don't even want to say the scale side of the RC industry. I mean, you're something big, and to see, as you say, it's a small group that works together to do this. I mean, it's the hobby. Thanks you guys. for being involved in putting out products that we all enjoy running and using.
And to even add to that, the amount of heart and passion and just the humbleness, you guys are all awesome. So thank you.
Thank you also for supporting us and for having us on the show and inviting us to the family. We really appreciate it.
I mean, I think one of our guys, the other Shawn, I think he might even drove the Series 3 before you. That's how nice you are to other people.
He was Shawn was the third person other than myself to ever drive one.
That's awesome.
There was a lady at USTE and her husband was all, oh, I'm gonna get one of these, and I was like, you want to do something cool? So I let her drive it first. And he was literally the second person who ever drove one ever. I was so terrified. I mean, I was just terrified to allow him. I'm like, he's gonna roll it. He's gonna roll it. Or she's gonna roll it.
So Jeremy, you're one of the only people here that's built a 109. So any feedbacks? I mean, it's still not released, so we can still change things up. I know it's a little late, but I mean, okay, I'm only talking about probably the manual. Okay, maybe some suggestions with the manual. We can still make a little bit of suggestions. I mean, changes with that.
Yeah.
So there's a couple steps in the manual, and I'm not, it's not a critical thing. I've built trucks from much worse. And I won't mention that company's name, but there's a few steps in there that could probably be separated into, a better pictorial of what's going on. Combining.
I don't know which steps. I mean, which manual you have, because I know that we had a ton load of changes in the instruction manual.
Yeah, the one that got me was the tailgate and the rear light lenses.
Okay.
How to put that part in to make the tailgate lock, I missed the first time.
Right.
The little round knob that sticks out, you mean?
I caught that piece. It was the actual latch. Like, how do you actually secure it? I just
the horseshoe deal.
Yeah, I just slipped a bobby pin through that round piece.
Right.
So
I've been yelled at for that, just to let you know.
Yeah, I did what was necessary in the lack of information.
I put a body pin in there right before UST, and I got yelled at for that.
Yeah, so like that little piece is it's hard. It was hard to see, and I know my manual is, it probably has some age on it, but just a few things like that. And all I'll tell somebody, when you're building a vehicle,
no, take all the feedback that we can get. I mean, it's great to have a feedback, because obviously it's coming from a person that's building it, and not like me, that I'm always looking at these sort of things, and it's easy to overlook certain things. Like, I already know how to build it, and building it. So it's
that was like my fault with the motor thing. Like that messed me up, because I made assumptions based off of the BRX2 I had already built. So like a build of this caliber, of this quality, like, pay attention to the manual and read it as many times as you think is necessary, until you become comfortable with what parts are being used.
That's
I was very dedicated with my layout and having all of the parts laid out by step, by the screws, and I'm a very organized builder. All the parts were there, all the pieces were there, and I know I had pre-production, so it wasn't quite as perfect as it will be when others receive it. But it's everything was there, and I really didn't have any, other than self-inflicted wounds. I really didn't have any problems.
I mean, it's always good to take feedback from another person that's building it, because I mean, in the office, there's only probably 2 people that have built it. So one of them is me, and then the other one is I've made the graphic designer build it as well. So he knows certain things with the body and stuff like that. But I'll take that back to the feedback, and
make a few changes to the instruction manual as well, probably. Like hearing you say that you struggle with the rear, because I know the diagram that you saw is obviously there is only one diagram of like how the rear end assembles.
Yeah.
So okay, that's good feedback. And
It just needed to be bigger so I could kind
yeah,
of see what was
so
going
it's
on.
easier
That
to
was-
see visually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a problem. And another thing is with a lot of instructions that you see out there for body work, like building a body, you don't hardly see any writing on them.
Yeah.
I had to make sure that we have both parts, the writing side and the actual graphics as well. So if you don't quite understand the graphic side, you can read it and
Yep.
see how I built it, sort of thing.
Yeah, and for anybody, for my military friends out there, reading is fundamental.
Oh,
Take 2 minutes, read it. Words have meanings and meanings have words, and they used all of it the right way.
what is
Because I've
that?
come
Read?
across like manuals that literally I'm like looking at it thinking, how does this go together?
Yeah.
And I'm puzzled, but obviously you got to do what you got to do, try and get it to fit. Yeah.
So let's see here. I see you, some of the guys, Papa, Shorty's RC, welcome. He's asking, is any RC group and Central PA area? Nate, is that around you, Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Hat all over.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Jess. Amazing show, guys. It's about that time. I want to say something, Ricky. I love your
Yes.
hat, bro. I love your hat.
I
love
yeah,
your
I just had
hat,
to throw that
man.
on because I haven't had my hair cut yet. It's a bit of a mess.
That's my team right there. I just gotta say that.
Didn't have time to sort out.
Amazing show, guys. The family and I, we were listening to it. Again, it is an honor to have you, Jason, Ricky, and Shawn. Like always, guys, all the info, all that stuff, and man, that beautiful rig is just incredible, guys. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity, right, that you guys are giving us and hanging out with us here. Thank you so much for that. Go
Javier,
ahead.
I hope your father-in-law gets better soon,
Thank
and
you, brother.
we'll pray for him.
Thank you, bro. It means a lot. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. My God, guys. What else, man? What else you got?
I want one.
I want 1, 2.
I want one too.
I tell you what I did, but it's yeah.
You got to, Jason.
So I know on the last show, I promised Scale Rat Rob to that he will get one, and you can take my word for it. I'm gonna get you one before the release comes out. So far we've only sent 3 out to be built. One was to Jeremy, and then another one Shawn got it, and the third one we sent it to Maxi, the guy that's been doing a lot of the videos and posting in a lot of the Facebook groups. But the ones that they've received are the pre-production ones, and they have some imperfections on the body. But right now, I think all of the imperfections are corrected. So the one that you'll be getting will be the production version one. So you will probably be the first one to build the production one, and you can give us some feedback on it.
No pressure.
But yeah, no pressure. But we probably can't make any more changes to it. So,
All right.
Question.
I'm gonna
build a
mute
convertible
myself
or are you
really
gonna build a
quick.
hardtop?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm stoked. Yes.
it's one of the things we can do to show appreciation for what you do for Operation 11 Charlie. So thank you.
Thank you. This is
Thank you, Jason.
Jason, Trevor's in the chat. He says ledge stock this year. You.
So I am definitely thinking about it. Definitely. So I'm interested in coming for sure. I've never been, and I want to meet you in person, Trevor. So for sure. You'll be hearing from me. But
Awesome.
Still ominous.
I can't make any promises right now. I mean, I have a son who's like 15 months old right now. So any plans that I make, I have to run it through the boss first.
Yes.
So yeah.
I know that feeling.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Yeah. I feel that right now.
I was gonna say, once you receive the body, are you gonna build a convertible or a hardtop?
I'm probably gonna work on a 3D design. I wanted to build this as a royal hearse. I wanted to go a completely different direction, but that may change when I get it. But I've always just, I don't know. I just thought seeing the Series 3 Royal Hearse when I was a kid, there was something about it that was just like, that's just a really cool truck. And I had no idea what I was looking at. And then once these images came out about this rig, and I'm like, I can do something that really intrigued me into the Defenders when I was a child. And so that's kind of a goal. It's going to be blue, some white accents, just like they had in the royal family. And so like I'm shaking in my voice right now. So I'm like, I'm stoked.
I mean, that's the whole idea of us putting this car out for people to actually, some of the things that they can do, it will give you, because this Series 3 has so many different types of builds.
Yes.
So it opens up so many different like types of bodies that you can do.
It's funny. Robert goes to the Royal Hearse, and I thought of Jim Carrey.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
And when you say the Royal Hearse, have you seen, I'm sure you've seen this one, the one that Prince Philip was in. That
That's exactly the route that I was going to go.
I think Jason froze.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Internet connection.
He's really good at staying still.
Yeah. Walsh just walked in. He's like, don't move.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole route that we wanted to make the body modular. So it opens up a whole different platform for people to have their take on a Series 3. That's why we incorporated options of being a convertible or being a hardtop. If you want a fuel petrol engine or diesel engine, different ways that you can put the fog light, reverse light. If you want to put it, you can. If you don't want to put it, you can just leave it off, and you don't have to fill any holes. But you have to do a little bit of drilling, I'm afraid.
Nah, that's
Same with the
perfect.
wing mirrors. Wing mirrors, if you want it on the front fenders, or if you want it on the actual doors. So different ways of you interpreting Series 3.
Sounds like you got homework, Rob.
Oh yeah, I'm way past that. I got all different ideas. Like while we were sitting here, like all the trucks were sitting on the tables, and you know, you had the safari style that was sitting in the back with Shawn, and then you had one that was convertible, one that wasn't. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have to buy 4 of these things because I need one for each different style. But I mean, there's so many ideas in my head. I mean, I shared a couple of pictures with Jeremy. There was this really nice green one, but I figured everybody and their mom's going to be doing a green one. And then like another idea I was thinking in my head is using aluminum tape around the side instead of actually painting it. This way it can actually create dents in the side and to make it more
Land Rover
scale of
panels are
life
not
left.
perfect.
No, they're not perfect, and that's probably going to be a little bit of a challenge. But I'm running ideas on how to make it not perfect. So I'm excited about that.
We'll talk, Rob, because I played with that idea too.
Oh, you have?
I have a solution for you.
Like it.
The
Oh,
big one that I've been wanting to do
I'm
is
so stoked.
Royal Air Force ambulance.
Yeah.
I seen it has a little bull bar on the front and it's dark, like kind of a darkish blue color. I saw that and I was like, man, that 109 will look so good. Like I just got to learn how to do better 3D printing.
Oh yeah, I've been
there's gonna
thinking
be
I need
some-
measurements. I need it in my hands.
Yeah.
Well, to the people who like and have that talent, it's an open slate with that bid. I mean, so many possibilities. I mean, Shawn, you've talked about the ambulance a couple times. I mean, military stuff. I mean, Rob can work that magic. He can get it going.
The UN used these for decades. So I mean, there's, my dually, that inspiration was an old UN truck that was converted in the field, and there's only one picture that I've ever seen of a dually Defender, and it, the military does it out of need, or the UN does it out of special need to do something. So there's countless versions of these out there.
I watched a movie one day and it was out of Australia and they had a tandem axle LC70. And I was like, oh, I think somebody might be getting cut up.
I thought about that a long time ago.
As long as there's one picture on the internet, it's scale.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see this picture. This is one of my ideas.
Yeah.
They've owned so many of these, and I just think this would just be, come on.
It's there.
It was there.
You're hiding everything behind you and your phone.
Right
There it is.
There.
So look at that. Blue, a little bit of white, some silver. I mean, the royal family is definitely going to be my influence on this build for sure. 100%.
A little side thing, if you go to take the black paint off the bumpers that they use, I don't know what it is. It is not powder coat because silicon carbide struggled on it.
Really?
I sandblasted them off, and that is some pretty impressive paint they use.
Mm.
I took it to work. I mean, I didn't actually take it to work.
Quick tip: don't take the black off. It acts like a perfect
Paint
great
over
primer.
it.
Paint over it. That's how I done my one, the silver that I painted on the other one behind you, Jason. Because I literally just sanded down the black on it a little bit to roughen it up a little bit, and then just sprayed over it with silver.
I took every bit of it off with a sandblaster, and it worked. It worked hard, man. It worked hard at it, and that was silicon carbide cutting through it.
Yeah, because they're galvanized, so they have different texture, different facing. So
Yeah,
like Rob, I'm sure knows how to texture galvanize, but it's if you use a sponge, you use different densities of foam sponges in different placements in small pieces, and you can get that silver paint to change its reflective piece, and it looks like galvanized steel.
I was going to use a cold galvanizing compound on it, but then I would have had to repaint all the sides, and that was not happening. So the bumpers
a
became
lot of masking. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is not the most fun thing I've ever done, was to mask all that off.
I'll go with faux galvanizing because I still have to mask mine off and do it.
Oh man, the sides aren't that terrible, but the back is so tedious to mask off.
I had to do 2 in a very small time frame.
I don't envy some of the stuff you had to do. I've seen some of it just show up, and I was like, oh man. Like, did you do the 3D printed bodies, the 109 and the 88?
Well, we didn't actually do them. I mean, we send the 3D printing stuff out for a company to do for us because our printer is not capable of doing that finer detail. but the files are literally the same files as the actual files that we had sent off to get the molds done.
But who did the sanding and all the prep work on it?
Me.
God, I don't even, dude, I don't even want to guess.
If I tell you that was me, would you believe me?
that had to be horrible.
Oh man, trust me, I spent hours sanding that.
And at the Vegas event, people come up and they're like, "Oh, I really like the truck." And they're like, "Oh, is this production?" Like, "Oh, it's 3D printed." Like, "Oh my God, who did this?" Like that's all they said. Like they all had pity for you.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I spent sanding that. Jason, you can understand how hard it is to sand something.
I'm still gonna ask you to give. I'm still gonna ask you to do it within like a couple of hours next time.
I might struggle on that one.
All right, we are
Yeah.
coming. Oh, it's really late.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how late it was. Is Hobby still there? Did he jump?
I'm here, guys. Yeah, definitely. We're past the time. I just letting you guys do what you guys want to do. So it's awesome show, guys. So yeah, we could start saying anybody has any other questions for Jason, Ricky, and Shawn, feel free. If not, Jason, you want to mention and say something before we start saying our goodbyes, Ricky or Shawn?
Ricky, you want to say something?
Well, I hope you guys enjoy, obviously, our new product coming out, the Series 3. And yeah, let the fun begin.
Awesome. And that note, let's start saying our goodbyes. I guess we're gonna start with Jake.
Because I just talk too much up here.
Yeah, too much.
Always. Thanks for having me, and BoomRacing. I'm gonna group you all. Thank you for showing off your sweet truck, and I'm gonna see if I can convince Rob to store one of that over here. I got space. I won't drive it too much.
Too much, he said.
Too much.
Awesome, Jay. Thank you so much. Nathan.
Thank you, Jason, Ricky, and Shawn for joining us tonight. Everyone else that joined us to watch, that tunes in every Monday, thank you so much. You're awesome. And just have a safe week. Be safe out there, and join us next Monday for our show. Y'all take care.
Who we got next Monday?
Next Monday would be that is Chris Lindgren with Beat the Creek.
Awesome. Some Beat the Creek information on there. Awesome. Good job, Nate. Awesome stuff. Jess.
Me. Just want to say thank you to Ricky, Jason, and Shawn for hanging out with us tonight. I will be bugging most of you for questions about this truck I'm working on, just so you know. Thank you for everybody for hanging out with us tonight, and thank you to all of our veterans and your families for everything you do for us and our country. We greatly appreciate it. Have a good week, everybody.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you for being part of it. So yes, Jess needs help. She's talking part one? Part A?
I'm past part one.
Okay.
She's an introduction of the manual.
That's
She's made it to the page where it shows all the tools that come with
it.
I'm not gonna lie, the page I'm on right now, I'm stumped. So we'll just deal with that later.
Yeah. Okay.
It must be the D-bag. It's okay.
No.
Go ahead, Rob.
All right. Thank you for everybody that's in the chat. Love seeing you guys week over week. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your support. Ricky, your energy, like we can see and feel the love that you have for what you're doing. Like the way that you talk, your passion. Like
yes,
Jason's lucky to have a guy like you, dude. Like you're one awesome dude. You got to come on here more often. Like we got to share some of this energy. It's amazing. Please, man, dude, rock on.
Thank you. I mean, I really enjoy the hobby of because I love custom building stuff, and my passion just comes from literally if I do something, I wanted to do it to the best of my capability.
Right on, man. And it shows in your face, your actions, dude. Just keep it up, man. We love you, dude. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Shawn, everything that you're doing for the Boom and AsiaTees team, like finding out the twerks and some of the things that are needed from being here and what needs to be fixed. That innovation, it's great. I mean, I wish there was more of us that can contribute in that sort of way. And dude, you're right up there with everybody. You're awesome.
Appreciate it. It's its own reward to see everybody else get so happy about it when it comes out. I mean, it's like, that's, I think, probably the best thing about the whole thing.
I mean, yeah, before when you were saying like you're building this, you're putting it together, you're out there driving it, and you see that there needs to be a change. You go back to your team, you mention, hey, we got to change this up. Boom. Next thing you know, that influence that you did is now going to be all over the world with everybody that's buying this product. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. So thank you. Like, thank you for your contribution, man. It's awesome.
It's definitely my privilege.
It is true. Yeah, that is very true.
I take all feedback so very right.
Jason knows how to pick a team. So you're doing it right. I mean, your story from the last time we talked, you started all this at a super young age. It's incredible. Like from where you were to where you are now. When I'm out there, like at different events and we're talking about BoomRacing, I let them know some of that story about who you are and what you've done. And they're like, no way, because I was that way. And I'm like, this guy is incredible. Like, I wish I was in your shoes. I wish I could have done those things. You know, it's like you create a project in your head, but you never follow through on it. Next thing you know, the next guy walks up. He created that same project that you had that idea, and he's making millions. It's like, but you are the influence, as in you get an idea, follow through. Don't tell anybody else. Just do what you got to do. Be your own innovator and just drag it. And like your story is a huge influence, especially on, I quit my day job to do this. And after hearing your story, I know that it's unstoppable. Like I can make it happen. So thank you, Jason. Really, really do.
Well said, brother. Well
There's
said.
sorry, can I add something? There's
Go ahead, brother.
there's been times where I'm sure this happens to everybody, but there's been really a lot of times where I wanted to give up, and it was so difficult. This was a couple of years back, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, with the rate that I'm working right now, I will never have a family. I will never find a girlfriend or, get married or have kids, which I truly, I think I have a passion for, to have my own kids. And really, I still remember that moment. I was just heading home. I was just thinking, this is so hard, and why am I going through, all of this stuff? And I just want to say, share that, pain and suffering is just temporary. Just continue to do what you're doing and have hope and faith. I pray a lot. I get a lot of strength from going to church and praying. Obviously, I like you guys are seeing now, I work with a lot of like good people, and that helps. I have a very supportive family that really helps as well. I look towards my family for a lot of the inspiration and support as well. So I definitely can't do this alone. And I don't know how long I can do this, to be honest, because I know how difficult it is to get all these people together. And from seeing how this project developed, we're, to be honest, we're just at the right place at the right time with the right people. That's why, I made a post on Facebook a couple days ago. Is this my prime? Is this the very best that I can ever do, for what I do for a living? to release this product because I feel like we all gave it our best and we left it all out there to release this product. So I don't want to sound like I'm selling the product too much, but deep down, I'm just thinking, wow, will we ever be able to do something like this again? And I go to church every week. I try to pray and meditate, and I understand that things like these don't happen all the time. So I'm fully trying to enjoy the moment with all the hype that's going on, with you guys inviting us to come on to talk about the car. I mean, what other opportunities are there to ever have a TV show, a channel with a big following, invite you to come on to talk about your product, your vehicle? I mean, this is pretty much once in a lifetime thing. And I never knew this would happen. And but just continue to, if you have a goal, you have a dream, continue to strive for it, work hard on it. Don't give up. If you feel like, things are too hard, look for other people to talk to other people, find your support group. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry, I got so
No,
emotional.
you're good. Thank you, Jason. I mean, those
Well
words of influence right there. It's like,
Definitely.
yeah, I've had some challenges and I felt like, did I make the right choice of quitting my day job to do this? And it's finding the right people, the people that have your back, support and everything like that, and just to help you stand up strong. And my board, my brothers and sisters that I'm talking to right now, the guys that are here with me right now, the guys that are in the chat room, all of them, they're great supporters for this cause and for the hobby in general. And I appreciate and I love you all.
Well said, guys. And that is just words of wisdom right there, guys, and motivation, right, for us, because even us here in Operation 11 Charlie, it's not easy what we do. We do it with love, hard work, dedication, right? And we just got to keep pushing forward, man. That's all it is. And Jason, you surround yourself with amazing team, and it's kind of what we do here in Operation 11 Charlie in our military careers as well, right? So man, that's awesome to hear that, man. Jeremy.
So this has been a fantastic show, and there is an underlying theme here that teamwork does make the dream work. And Jason, I will answer your question with the best knowledge that the Sergeant Major has. As a person who has built successful teams over the past 31 years of my career, I can tell you, you have not peaked. You will do this again, and you will make it better. And you will do it again, and you will make it better. The work and the time and the investment that you put into this and your teams, as your teams evolve over time, just get better. So keep doing it, fight through, hunt the good. Every situation has a shady side. Every situation has a bright side. Just keep working toward the bright side every time. Learn from what you should have done. Make sure that you do it the next time, lessons learned, all that stuff. But yeah, you're on it, you're nailing it, and you're off and running. So great job. And I have all the faith that you will continue to do this for a long time.
Amen.
So everyone else out there, ditto, the same thing. You haven't peaked. There's still a lot left on the tree. Keep working, keep doing what you're doing. Get off the couch and go RC.
Well said, bro. Well said.
Thank
Matt.
you, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's great show. Second time, Jason, Shawn, you're on. Ricky, thanks for taking time out of your day and sharing the love for the hobby, what you're doing with BoomRacing, some of your knowledge. But Jason, you started out with your company, you built a team, and it's what 11 Charlie was in the beginning. You turned it into a family. And as long as the families all stays there, you'll keep going, like Jeremy said. It's stay positive, do good things, and the family will keep pushing. The trucks are great. Keep making them the way it is. Don't change, except the bodies. Change the bodies up. Keep bringing us new bodies.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. What's under the body, you don't need to change it. Nothing at all. But all those who have served and are serving, thank you. And see everybody next week.
Awesome, awesome. Good job, man. Good job, guys. Shawn, you want to say your goodbyes, brother?
Well, guys, appreciate having me back. It's eventually I will get to go do another event with you guys, and I will join you guys.
Yes.
As it stands right now, I don't know when that's going to be. So, but I already spoke with the wife. When you guys go to Utah, we will be there.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's some good news right there. Look, we're looking forward to it, Shawn. We're looking forward to work together. We cannot wait for that. Thank you so much, bro. And thank you for your service, Shawn. Ricky's, you want to say your goodbyes, brother?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on here on the chat. I mean, it's been great talking to a lot of like-minded people. And I also want to thank the team that is behind us with producing all these things. And also with Jason giving me the opportunity and the free roam of like thinking out of the box and trying to make things different and being able to put my sort of interpretations on certain things into production. So thank you.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much, Ricky. Jason.
So I want to say thank you to Javier for starting the Operation 11 Charlie, and what a great platform you created for a lot of people and even for us to come on and talk about our products, promote our products. So thank you very much. And for all the guys in Operation 11 Charlie, you guys keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for what you're contributing to the cause. And for all the audience out there, thank you for tuning in tonight and listening to us talk about our new upcoming product. If you want to know more information about the Series Street, the officially licensed Land Rover Series Street, go up to our website, boomracing.com, and you can read a lot of information on it. And yeah, so thank you, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you, Jason, so much again, bro, for being here with us. You guys are welcome anytime, and anytime you feel free, you can join us anytime. I want to post here real quick
I was
before
gonna say, I
we.
want to add to what he said also on Facebook, the BRX02 fan page. It's a lot of the updates and pre-release stuff they leak out there. So join if you're on Facebook, social media. They're also on Instagram. So check them out, guys. Follow them.
Thank you. Definitely. I put a website there real quick. Again, and that note, guys, we gonna say our goodbyes. Thank you for being here with us, everybody here on the chat. Thank you for the support always. And we'll see you next Monday. Have a blessed week. Take care, guys.